ensuring that President Biden wins Pennsylvania. If you'll remember, in 2016, he won Pennsylvania by 44,000 votes. Well, Philadelphians rose to the occasion in the city that Donald Trump said specifically to the nation, bad things happen in Philadelphia. Well, we delivered for President Biden. He received 81% of our vote, nearly doubling that vote margin, and he became our president of the United States, and we're going to do the same. This is simply a mere distraction, Reverend Al, and we won't forget how Donald Trump has failed the black community. Sky-high black unemployment, more guns and violence on our street, and believe me, the higher health care costs for families in the city of Philadelphia, particularly the black community, we haven't forgotten.
Now, staying with that, some polls have shown an erosion of President Biden's support from segments of the black voter base, which he'll have a chance to address in his first debate with Donald Trump this coming Thursday evening. What should his message to black America be, and how should he deliver it? By touting his record or calling Trump out on his record, or both?
Reverend Al, let me just say this as it relates to polls. I became the first woman mayor in the city of Philadelphia, and if I looked at polling as the sole indicator to how I would perform in this election, I wouldn't be here. What I, as mayor, will be doing is reminding Philadelphians we will have to keep our eyes on the prize, and we will have to think about, for example, and you can't make these numbers up. I'm a new mayor. I just got here in January. I have received from the federal government, the Biden-Harris administration, over $613 million for the city of Philadelphia. For what, Reverend Al? I can't go through it all, but $25 million for water and sewer treatment, for infrastructure, $317 million, mass transit, $159 million to reconnect a community in Philadelphia that had been redlined and moved away from our city, and $2 million for additional brownfields remediation. So for me, I think a whole lot about Baldwin. This is not simply listening to what people say. This is about watching what they do. And President Biden has affirmed that he knows what it means to make Philadelphia what I've committed, and that is to make our city the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with economic opportunity for all. And we can't do it without President Biden, and that's what I'm hoping that he stays focused on. I've talked to him personally on many occasions. I'm in close communication with his team, and we're going to stay focused on the facts. And it's my job as mayor, Reverend Al, and I want to be clear. I need to make sure that Philadelphians know that we won't be had, we won't be took, and we won't be hoodwinked by any black faces in high places telling us that we should endorse Trump. We won't forget about what he's done, and we're prepared to do that here in the city of Philadelphia.
Let me get your opinion on the following. NBC News is reporting that Donald Trump is focused on 2 or 3 candidates for his running mate ahead of the Republican National Convention in 3 weeks. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum are at the top of the list, as we understand it, with Florida Senator Marco Rubio also in contention. This is according to NBC sources. Missing, of course, from the suggested finalists are women or any of the black candidates once floated for the job, like Senator Tim Scott or Congressman Byron Donalds. Your thoughts on that, Madam Mayor, especially as Trump tries to court black voters?
Reverend Al, I want to be 1,001% clear. I wouldn't care if the running mate was black, brown, white. There is no one who can control for the policies that have attempted to destroy the democracy, the foundation on which our great nation is built. And that is, we will give everyone access to the opportunity to be living on a path to self-sufficiency. And anyone who subscribes to policies that are embraced by Donald Trump, we will give them no consideration. And, you know, maybe I'm thinking about mayors now a great deal because I'm just returning from the U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting in Kansas City. And as I talk to mayors in urban, suburban, and rural America, they have all said the same thing. We have to stay focused on how President Biden, Vice President Harris has significantly contributed to helping to advance our respective municipalities and cities and not get distracted.
Yeah.
So his presence in North Philadelphia is a distraction. Even if he decided, someone said to me, Sherelle's going to be a black or a brown person, he's going to choose as his running mate. Again, the black community, for anyone to think that we are naive enough to think that any black face in a high place trying to convince us that Donald Trump is best for the black community, you underestimate the power of the community, just like he did with Philadelphia.
Let me go right there before you go. I'm out of time, but since you brought that up, we've been talking about Trump reaching out to black voters, and I want to get to your response to some of that outreach effort. We had Florida Congressman Byron Donalds on this program several weeks ago. He's been in your city claiming, he said this in your city of Philadelphia, claiming black families were stronger during Jim Crow and suggesting the black community has been worse off for supporting Democrats. Other black Republicans have made similar comments. What's your response to that?
My response to that, Reverend Al, is that the black community will not be duped. We know that when it comes to civil rights and voting rights, we have used the power of our vote, we have used the courts, and we have used nonviolent civil disobedience in marching and advocating for what's in the best interests of us. And anyone who think that they could convince black people that Jim Crow was better for the black community than us having the opportunity to be full citizens here in America is someone who is trying to hoodwink our community. And I think much more of the black community, we're keeping our eyes on the prize. President Biden, safe, clean, green economic opportunity for all, how his work impacts our city and our people. And we're going to be working door to door. I'm excited.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. And if you ever give up politics, think about preaching. You'd be great.
Oh, Reverend Al,
you.
look, honor and privilege to be here with you, sir.
I'm privileged to have you. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker. Now to the upcoming first presidential debate next week. Joining me now is retired General Wesley Clark, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO and a former presidential candidate. General, it's always great to see you. And I want to remind you of something. 2 decades ago, you and I both ran for president as Democrats looking to defeat George W. Bush. And I wanted to open up with this moment you might remember from your first Democratic primary debate. It was right here in New York after you just entered the race in September of 2003. And some veterans Democrats took issue with you jumping in the race. Roll the clip, please.
First of all, as the only New Yorker, I want to welcome General Clark to New York, and I want to welcome him to our list of candidates. And don't be defensive about just joining the party. Welcome to the party. It's better to be a new Democrat that's a real Democrat than a lot of old Democrats up here that have been acting like Republicans all along.
You might remember that exchange, and I might add that it was an honor running against you. And we always respect each other and always stay within the boundaries of what we believe was good for the country, which is what I'm really concerned about on Thursday night. That's why I wanted you on, because we have experience on the stage of at least running in the primaries. But now as the president, Biden preps for his Thursday debate, what lessons can his team learn from moments like this one from our debate 20 years ago? I don't know if he...
No, I thought you were going to show another clip.
No.
Reverend Al, it's great to be on with you. I loved being on that debate stage with you, and you were the only one who welcomed me in there, and it always meant a lot. And I think you're just you were a great debater, you were a great candidate, and it's an honor to be on with you. Look, what lessons? Number one is you've got to make up your mind before you go in what are your three or four major points you're going to do. You got to stay focused, you got to make it funny, and you got to make it brief. You got to not pay too much attention to the questions. You got to get your message out. Now, in this case, going against Donald Trump, the president's got a lot of great things to say that he's done, and he's got a lot of great attack points against Donald Trump. In fact, he's got so many attack points, we'd call it in the military a target-rich environment. So he's got to be focused on what he's going to attack. Now, I'm thinking, okay, how about COVID, okay? Donald Trump recommended we put bleach in our veins. He didn't tell us when he talked to the Chinese president this was a air-delivered serious virus. He tried to say it wasn't going to be important. He didn't recommend people take the vaccines, even though when he got sick, he rushed over and did it. What kind of leadership is that? The results show that America had one of the worst COVID responses of any large nation. We lost a lot of people. Joe Biden came in the next round of COVID. We did a lot better because we had President Biden leading us through that. So that's number one. Number two, is this a guy who's been impeached twice, not for politics, but for actual things he did wrong in misusing his office of the presidency, and especially on January 6th, where he basically tried to overturn the elections. How could any American vote for Donald Trump again, knowing that he's already said he's going to be a dictator from day one? Hey, you might vote for Donald Trump once. It might be the last vote you ever take as an American for president, because he intends to stay. Number three on this is, got to listen carefully what Donald Trump says. He usually accuses the opponents of doing what he's doing, and then he does it. And he's been very transparent. He's very easy to read. Donald Trump's all about one person, Donald Trump. And when he rolls off those grievances, don't you feel any sympathy for him. He's beat the law on every case he's got, except for one, and now he's a convicted felon. And he's got money behind him. He's got foreign money behind him. This is a man who's about Donald Trump and nobody else. Don't be fooled. So
now, let me talk strategy. Let me talk strategy with you a minute for the president. The debate gives him a massive platform to contrast himself with Donald Trump. Should he try to appeal to persuadable independent voters or just engage his Democratic base?
Oh, he's got to go for the independent voters out. Sure, he does. But he does that with two factors. Number one is the record, which is a darn good record. And number two, he's got to show his energy, his alertness, his ability to focus, get the message out, be focused, be funny, and be brief on target.
Now,
if he does
now he's got to deal with that. There's a lot been made about the debate rules. There'll be no live audience, no notes, and the candidates will have their microphones muted when they're not speaking. You've been through this process. How much do these little details matter?
Well, I think it helps not to have the audience there, honestly, because I think it lets the debate focus more on the candidates and the issues rather than the distractions of just appealing to the audience. But you still got to appeal to that audience that's out there watching on television. You got to say things that are interesting, and you got to have a little humor in there to put some life into the debate. So I think that's good. I think having the mic turned off, I think that's a positive, because I think Donald Trump would attempt to interfere, as he did in the previous debates, while President Biden's talking. So I think that's a good thing. I think the debate rules are fine. They support President Biden in this first debate.
All right, now, General, I want to play some comments from former President Donald Trump just a few hours ago, speaking at the Faith and Freedom Conference in Washington. Take a listen.
We dominated. We saved the world from those forts. And now they decide to take the names off, and wait till you see ultimately what happens with those names. They did, I call it a transition, like transitioning. They have a transition name before they name it. The Reverend Al Sharpton Fort. Fort Al Sharpton.
Now, while I'm honored Trump is thinking of me, I'm sure there are others more worthy of having a military facility named after them. And like former President Trump, I never served in the military, neither has he. And you would think after serving 4 years as president, he knows the custom is to name forts after people that has done military work. But can you talk? I'm not going to bite the bait by exchanging sound bites with him, but can you talk a bit about why the Pentagon has taken the thoughtful steps of renaming certain bases? Because apparently the former president does not seem to understand the reason that some people are offended by some, including some Confederate generals. I remember he said it was fine people on both sides in Charlottesville when we talked about General Robert E. Lee. So explain why the Pentagon's sensitivity is here.
Look, these forts were named during the Jim Crow era. That's the truth. And they were named so that that people in the South and these segregationist senators in the South and the governors would sort of accept the fort in their state. That was the idea. It was a form of racist appeasement. So if you were an African-American soldier or Hispanic or even an American soldier, finally you say, wait a minute, why am I at Fort Hood, Texas? You know who John Bell Hood was? Yes, he lost a leg at Gettysburg fighting for the Confederates. He led the Confederates into one of the worst defeats of the war in the attack on the Union forces at Nashville. He was a West Point graduate who was disloyal to his country, disloyal to his oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States, or as it was given at that time, and he was a loser. Why would you name a big fort after him? Instead, that fort is renamed for General Cavazos. And General Cavazos, a man I had served with and admired tremendously, was the first Hispanic four-star general in the Army. Fantastic human being, a great leader, 2 years in combat in Korea, a battalion commander in Vietnam. This is a guy who knew soldiering, he knew leadership, he knew people. And the same thing is true at Fort Benning. There it's been renamed for General Hal Moore. And Fort Bragg, Braxton Bragg, a Confederate general, he was a loser. Yeah. And, of course, he was disloyal. Instead, we named it Fort Liberty. And there's no more appropriate name for where the 82nd Airborne is stationed than Fort Liberty. They're the nation's first response force, and they are the first to protect our freedom. So I think it was a smart move by the Pentagon. It went through a commission. It wasn't just one person making an arbitrary decision. And I'm really proud of that, and I hope that our soldiers and their families really appreciate the leadership shown by Secretary Austin and the men and women in the Pentagon on this issue.
Well, thank you for being with us. Good to see you again, even though it's through the screen. Retired General Wesley Clark, a former presidential candidate. Thank you again for being with us. Coming up, while Trump continues to take shots at Biden over his mental abilities, questions arise about his own mental equity and acuity and whether he's actually ready for the debate stage. We'll be right back.
Nothing dims my light like a migraine. With Nurtec ODT, I found relief.
The only migraine medication that helps treat and prevent all in one.
To those with migraine, I see you.
For the acute treatment of migraine with or without aura and the preventive treatment of episodic migraine in adults. Don't take if allergic to Nurtec ODT. Allergic reactions can occur even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
It's time we all shine. Talk to a healthcare provider about Nurtec ODT from Pfizer.
I'm Sam. I have a 3.5-year-old puppy. Levi is rambunctious. He is very active. So Levi's had to go to the vet because he was coughing a bit, and he ended up getting x-rays. It would have cost over $500 had I not had Fetch pet insurance.
Fetch provides coverage for all of this and so much more. Fetch protects over 400,000 pets. Get paid back up to 90% on unexpected vet bills. Fetch, the most comprehensive pet insurance. Get your free quote today.
This is the one who keeps it moving. He stocks the right parts and knows just where to find them. Because this is about more than business. The industrial grade products you need. Call, click, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Bombas, we're obsessed with socks, tees, and underwear. Because your basic things should be your best things. One purchased equals one donated. Visit bombas.com and get 20% off your first order.
Have you Ever considered getting a walk-in tub? Well, look no further. Safe Step's best offer just got better. Now, when you purchase your brand new Safe Step walk-in tub, you'll receive a free shower package. Yes, a free shower package. And if you call today, you'll also receive 15% off your entire order. Now you can enjoy the best of both worlds. The therapeutic benefits of a warm, soothing bath that can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and even improve sleep. Or, if you prefer, you can take a refreshing shower all in one product. Call now to receive a free shower package plus 15% off your brand new Safe Step walk-in tub.
Call now, 1-800-625-9158.
You know, there's this thing called age, and it sucks.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints by years. Introducing InstaFlex Advanced.
It's restored my joints without just temporarily masking my symptoms. When you can find a product that can take that away to the point that you can live your life again, that is a miracle to me.
Get a complimentary sample by texting DRESS to 215-215. InstaFlex Advanced targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness with a unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies.
I love this product. I'm telling you, it works.
InstaFlex Advanced is the #1 selling joint brand at GNC, but you can only get your complimentary sample by texting DRESS to 215-215. Plus, text now, and we'll include a tube of InstaFlex pain cream for fast-acting relief absolutely free. Text DRESS to 215-215 today.
Clogged gutters can cause big problems fast. Until now. Call 833-LEAF Filter today for your free gutter inspection.
I've had terrible flooding problems on my porch. Now I understand why.
Right now, Leaf Filter is offering a free inspection on your schedule. Leaf Filter is a permanent gutter solution, so you never have to worry about costly damage from clogged gutters again.
Call us today and schedule your free inspection.
To schedule your free inspection, call 833-LEAF Filter today or visit leaffilter.com.
In 5 days, President Biden and former President Trump will face off in their first debate of the 2024 campaign. It's a matchup Trump has been demanding for months, suggesting Biden somehow too old and too feeble to engage in a discussion of the issues guiding this election. In recent weeks, however, Trump's own mental fitness has been called into question in private meetings with business leaders and lawmakers and in interviews. Witnesses have described Trump as meandering and sometimes incoherent. It's not hard to believe these claims since we can see it ourselves in Trump's public appearances. Take a listen.
$1.2 trillion for their fake infrastructure. He had a package of infrastructure. He's doing another one, which is actually a smaller version, but it's even more bekakt. Okay? Under our leadership, the forgotten man and woman will be forgotten no longer, and it wasn't forgotten. Man and woman 4 years ago was not forgotten. So there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards. Or here, do I get electrocuted if the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking? Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
I've spent some time on the debate stage myself, so I can tell you Trump will have to sound a whole lot better than that if he wants to win over undecided voters. But while President Trump is spending his time preparing for this forum by running around, President Biden is preparing and really taking seriously this debate. While Trump is sticking to his preferred method of not getting ready at all. Maybe Trump will get by just winging it, as he has done in the past. But after skipping all the primary debates and spending much of the past 4 years either on the golf course or in the courthouse, it wouldn't be surprising if he turned out to be a little rusty. And if Trump's push to debate Biden backfires, he'll have no one to blame but himself. I got you.
My secret? I'm the sweatiest person on the rugby team.
But you smell fresh as a Swiss spa.
I know, right? It's Secret Outlast.
It gives you 72 hours of odor protection.
Secret Outlast, official deodorant of Team USA. I told you it lasted a long time.
We really don't want people to think of feeding food like ours as spoiling their dogs.
Good, real food is simple. It looks like food. It smells like food. It's what dogs are supposed to be eating.
No living being should ever eat processed food for every single meal of their life.
It's amazing to me how many people write in about their dogs changing for the better. The farmer's dog is just our way to help people take care of them.
In the next 30 seconds, 250 couples will need to make room for a nursery. 26 people will go all in. This family will get 2 bathrooms. And finally, one vacationer will say,
"Yeah, whew, I'm gonna live here."
But as the euphoria subsides, the realization hits.
I gotta sell the house.
Don't worry, just sell and buy in one move when you start with Open Door.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes. Start with an all-cash offer at opendoor.com.
An official message from Medicare about fraud.
Free knee brace from my Medicare number.
Medicare fraud can happen through text, call, or email.
What will they try next?
Hello?
I'm calling about your Medicare.
I don't give out my information.
Need to confirm my Medicare number?
Nope. Delete.
Don't give your Medicare number to someone you don't know. Regularly check your Medicare claims to make sure they are right. Learn more at medicare.gov/fraud.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The savings sparkle during Omaha Steaks 4th of July sale event, where you get 50% off site-wide. Save on favorites like our famous fork tender filet mignon, juicy chicken breasts, sides, desserts, and more. Order now and get 8 Omaha Steaks burgers free. This 4th of July, ignite the savings on guaranteed perfection from America's original butcher. Visit omahasteaks.com/TV today.
To improve your digital security, just turn on NordVPN. Guard yourself from data snoopers, encrypt your online traffic, and block malicious sites. Get the deal now.
This is the one who helps everyone stay safe. An unsung hero in a building full of everyday heroes is just how he likes it. The industrial-grade products you need. Call, click, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We all know that we'll eventually need a will. Eventually. How about right now? Trust and Will has taken the process of creating your will and made it easy. Like while you're lounging on the couch, easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys, but customized by you. One question at a time. All documents are state-specific, legally valid, and start at just $199. That's not a typo. Find the plan that's right for you at trustandwill.com.
At Grainger, we know dealing with the unexpected is part of your job description, and we're here to help with professional-grade supplies, plus same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At the Ram Make This the Summer event, you can take a vacation from payments on the most awarded light and heavy-duty trucks. The most luxurious Ram 1500 ever. And the most advanced Ram heavy-duty pickups. Hurry into your local Ram dealer and make the most of your summer with great deals plus no payments for 90 days.
Now during the Ram Make This the Summer event, get $1,000 cash allowance plus finance and get no monthly payments for 90 days on the purchase of most 2025 Ram 1500 trucks.
Welcome back to Politics Nation. NBC is reporting Donald Trump has zeroed in on 3 top finalists who could become his vice presidential running mate. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and Senators J.D. Vance of Ohio and Marco Rubio of Florida. Let's bring in my political panel, David Jolly, political analyst, and former Republican Congressman of Florida, and Atima O'Mara, Democratic strategist and president of O'Mara Strategy Group. David, Trump has said he will announce his choice closer to the Republican National Convention, which begins July 15th in Milwaukee. What does it tell us about Trump's campaign and a possible second term that these appear to be the finalists?
Well, first, I think we might actually see an announcement around his sentencing as a distraction, an ability to steal the news cycle from Donald Trump's actual sentencing in the New York trial. But look, I think among the three finalists, the great concern for me would be a J.D. Vance, because I think he's wholly unqualified to be vice president and certainly to be president of the United States. He simply doesn't bring the experience. When it comes to Rubio and Burgum, certainly you could question their ideology. You could question Rubio's fitness, the way he kind of flip-flopped on Donald Trump. But I think in Rubio and Burgum, you have somebody that, regardless of ideology, would be qualified to be vice president. So if it's those three, look, we should celebrate that it's not Kari Lake and it's not Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of the other wholly unqualified people. My dark horse has always been Rubio, and I guess he's moving up simply because I think he's played the cards right with the base and with Donald Trump, and because he brings some talent to the ticket, some sizzle. Because of that, I don't think Donald Trump will pick him. He wants Mr. Boring Burgum, who the nation will never get to know by November. Donald Trump can own the spotlight.
Atima, if these are the vice presidential finalists, it appears Trump has given up on the idea of picking either a woman or an African-American as his running mate. Are you surprised by that, or do you think it's a missed opportunity for him?
Not surprised by that, Reverend, especially because you know that you and I both know that the GOP base is not at all really interested in candidates of color or women because they believe in a reflective democracy at all. If they do like candidates of color, it's somebody like Herschel Walker, shows blind loyalty to the Republican Party line and doesn't show too much independence in intelligence at all that he could strike out possibly. And that's exactly what Trump is looking for. He doesn't care for any of those things either, and he just wants somebody who's blindly loyal. And Marco Rubio was probably the only person of color who's managed to really demonstrate that blind fealty and play his cards right, as David said. So this isn't very surprising at all. And frankly, I wouldn't even put it past him if he thought he could get away with it, with putting one of his children, Don Jr. or Ivanka Trump, there. If he didn't think they would invoke the 25th Amendment to protect, their own ass. So, yeah.
Atima, staying with you, as we're less than a week away from the first presidential debate of 2024, Trump has raised the stakes with money. President Biden enjoyed a financial advantage over his challenger so far this cycle, but the fundraising game has changed since Trump's conviction. Trump's fundraising from small donors and billionaire mega donors outpaced Biden's in May. How important is the money game this election cycle?
I'm a political strategist by day that really espouses the idea that the ground game is what's going to win it. But to be fair, also the fundraising is going to absolutely help that ground game. And, Trump has parlayed that conviction and trying to change his campaign policies for more money from corporate execs to catch up to him, to Biden. But what I will say is that Biden has built sort of, an aggressive ground game in those 7 states that are going to be the battleground area where it's going to really come down to 200,000 votes. And hoping he stays in that lead because, Trump has now caught up to him, at least in fundraising.
David, as Trump looks to raise more money, there are stories that suggest he's often swayed by the last rich person he spoke to. According to Politico, Trump has shifted his positions recently on issues like TikTok, crypto, and green cards for college graduates based on input from wealthy donors. Do you think this could hurt him with his MAGA base, or are they locked in regardless of his positions?
Well, I think it'll get him in a pinch sometimes between now and November, but the MAGA base we know is super loyal, but it could get him in a pinch then with persuadable voters. I think it says several things that we largely know about Donald Trump. One, he's ultimately transactional. He is somebody devoid of ideology whatsoever. He does not care about a platform. He does not care about governing. He cares about people giving him money. But I think what all these donors should realize is he's also incredibly disloyal. if he would take my money for one transaction and turn around and then change his mind based on somebody else's money, that's somebody that you can't stick with. And I think that's the real danger, because Donald Trump in the White House listening to the last rich person or the last person on TikTok or the last person on Twitter is a very dangerous chief executive. No new information, I think, in this reporting other than to remind the nation of the danger of a President Donald Trump.
David Jolly and Atima Armora, thank you both for being with us. Coming up, is the GOP working to make sure a law that's more than 100 years old affects the future of reproductive rights for millions of Americans? I'll tell you in a moment.
Want to know a secret? More than just my armpits stink.
Facts. That's why I use Secret Whole Body Deodorant for clinically proven odor protection everywhere. So I smell great all day. All hike! And all night.
Secret Whole Body Deodorant.
Power outages can be unpredictable, inconvenient, and disruptive to your life, posing a real threat to your family's comfort and safety. When the power goes out, you have no lights, no refrigeration, no heating or air conditioning.
The winds are not letting up at all here. We're going to see some power outages. The number one thing to prepare for is extended power outages.
Are you prepared? You can be with a Generac Home Standby Generator. When a power outage occurs, your Generac Home Standby Generator automatically powers up using your home's existing natural gas or propane, so your life goes on without disruption. You and your family are comfortable, safe, and secure. Stay tuned to get over a $500 value free on the most popular home standby generator in the world.
With the Generac, we don't have to worry about whether we lose power or not. If the utility company does not come through, our Generac does.
Having a Generac takes a lot of the anxiety out of there's going to be a storm.
After the hurricane happened, we just want to be prepared for anything.
Generac generators are designed, engineered, and built in the USA. 8 out of 10 home generators are Generac and have thousands of satisfied customers.
How many times have you heard people say, I never want to go through that again? Well, the next time that you go through it, don't make it so hard on yourself. Have a Generac home standby generator.
Call or go online now to request your free quote with one of Generac's nationwide dealers. Special financing and low monthly payment options are available. And if you call now, you will also receive a free 5-year warranty valued at over $500. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation to buy. Call or go online now, so the next time there's a power outage, your home powers up. Power your life with Generac. Call or go online to request your free quote today.
Okay, ready to watch this? 1 second, I gotta finish my laundry.
Jess, it's girls' night.
1 second, I use Rinse.
What's Rinse?
The company that will pick up, wash, fold, and deliver your laundry and dry cleaning at the touch of a button.
I do not trust other people with my laundry.
Rinse guarantees your satisfaction. I've been using it for months now with no issues. Okay, let's watch this.
Wait, I'm gonna do my laundry.
Better hurry.
Done.
All schedules.
Sign up for Rinse at rinse.com to get $20 off your first order.
You got this, buddy. You got it.
During an asthma attack, every second feels like an eternity. Primatene Mist works fast. It's clinically shown to open airways quickly. Get the #1 FDA-approved over-the-counter asthma inhaler, Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again.
Monday, on the 2nd anniversary of the Supreme Court's decision to reverse Roe v. Wade, Mika Brzezinski speaks with Vice President Kamala Harris in an exclusive interview. Morning Joe, Monday 6 to 10 on MSNBC.
Each week on my podcast, I'm joined by uniquely qualified guests who help me take a big picture look at the issues. This week, Representative Jasmine Crockett on criminal justice and congressional politics. Why is this happening? Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Politics Nation. This week, Senate Democrats introduced legislation to repeal the Comstock Act, a 19th century law banning obscene material in the mail that anti-abortion advocates want to use as a tool to stop the shipment of abortion pills across state lines. Joining me now to talk about it is Jessica Mackler, president of the reproductive rights group Emily's List. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with the Comstock Act. What is it, and why is it so important to take action on it now?
Well, thank you for having me, Reverend. And as you just outlined, this is a law that Republicans have signaled that they are going to use to as a backdoor attempt to ban abortion nationwide. And honestly, this is just more of what we've seen since the Dobbs decision. Roe was not the end. We knew that they were never going to stop there. They are going to do everything and anything that they can to control our bodies, our lives, our personal health care decisions. And it's great to see Senate leaders, I would say, and note, driven by Democratic pro-choice women working to repeal this law. But the truth is that if we really want to fully restore reproductive freedom, and if we want to return these freedoms that have been stripped from millions of Americans across the country, we have to secure pro-choice majorities at every level of the ballot. That's what's going to be at stake in this election in November.
Now, Monday marks the second anniversary of the Dobbs decision that the conservative Supreme Court used to overturn Roe versus Wade. Former President Trump has falsely claimed that everyone wanted to return the abortion issue to the states, which is effectively what Dobbs did. Can you talk a bit about the impact the ruling has had since it took effect in the summer of 2022?
Well, Reverend, what we're seeing as a consequence of Dobbs and the result of returning this decision, quote unquote, to the states is that people across the country are being denied life-saving medical care. We are seeing women being forced to bleed out at home, get to the brink of death before they receive treatment, if they do. And this is the chaos, the cruelty that is brought upon us by Donald Trump and Republicans all over the country. And so it's life or death. We don't have to wonder what the reality is. We are living it right now. And again, that's really why we have to make sure that in this election, we are electing pro-choice Democrats and securing those majorities so we can restore these rights.
Now, the Dobbs decision seems to have emboldened religious conservatives on a wide range of culture war issues. Just this week, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signed a bill requiring the Ten Commandments to be displayed in every public school classroom. Now, conservative lawmakers in the state are pushing for new laws targeting LGBTQ teachers. Is this slippery slope part of the Dobbs legacy, in your opinion?
Absolutely. You know, what we know about this is that it's not just about medical procedures. It is about control. This is about who gets to make decisions over personal medical health care for sure, but over our bodies, over our lives. And Dobbs is one way that they are seeking this control, but they're not going to stop there. I mean, we see it in other aspects of reproductive freedom as well. They are going after IVF access. They are going after access for contraception, and they're not going to stop until they have full control over these decisions.
One of the ways your organization is fighting back against anti-abortion forces is to recruit more pro-choice women to run for office up and down the ballot. Can you talk about how that's going and what it would mean for the electoral landscape in 2024?
Absolutely. Emily's List is dedicated to electing Democratic pro-choice women up and down the ballot all over the country. And we've really seen in this moment that it matters, the imperative around women's leadership. We see women like Lisa Blunt Rochester, who's running for Senate in Delaware, and talking about her grandchildren conceived through IVF access. These stories really resonate with voters, and they really allow candidates to connect with voters and share with them that they understand exactly what's at stake in this election. And those are the perspectives that they're going to bring to the policies that are going to get us out of the mess that we're in right now when it comes to reproductive health care. And so Democratic pro-choice women are going to be at the center of those Democratic pro-choice majorities that we need to secure if we are going to fully restore our rights.
Now, if your organization and others are successful in pushing women to run and pushing for the large voter turnout among women, how much impact do you think it will have on the general election? Because if you have women at a local level or pro-choice candidates at a local level, it will also affect the national races. How much do you think this could give impact nationally as well as locally?
Well, that's absolutely right. I think it impacts races up and down the ballot. And what is really powerful about this issue of reproductive freedom is that when we frame elections in this choice that voters have between Democrats that are going to stand up for their rights to restore these rights and Republicans who, if we put them in power, are going to take away these rights, including a national abortion ban if we let them, voters turn out for us. You know, I was on the ground in Michigan just this past week with Alyssa Slotkin, who's running for Senate. We had a great crowd in Western Michigan, people who turned out because they care deeply about reproductive freedom. And that's something that we see from the local level all the way up to the top of the ticket. And it's going to be really meaningful in terms of turning out the voters that we need to win these elections.
Now, I'm out of time, but I have to ask you this. There's the first debate this Thursday night. What do you want to hear at the debate, from the candidates?
I think what we're going to see in this debate from the candidates is really the choice that's in front of voters. We're going to see, we've seen this from the Biden-Harris administration and the Biden-Harris campaign, that they have really centered their efforts around how they can do as much as they can to protect these freedoms, to grant access to as many women as possible. And we're going to see Donald Trump, I'm sure he's going to try to weasel his way out of it. We got to be really careful to pay attention to what he's done, not just what he's said. He bragged about packing the court that overturned Roe versus Wade. He has celebrated that. And that's what's at stake in this election. And that's, I believe, what we're going to see in the debate.
All right. President of Emily's List, Jessica Mackler, thank you for being with us. Up next, remembering a giant. My final thoughts. Stay with us.
Over 1 million people have put Super Beats by Human blood pressure support supplements to the test. And the numbers tell the story. We have over 80,000 5-star ratings and reviews. We're trusted by over 120 pro and college sports teams. Super Beats is the #1 selling beet brand. The only #1 doctor, pharmacist, and cardiologist recommended beet brand for heart health support. See why we've won the hearts of people across America and get a free month supply on all bundles at superbeats.com.
Is your shower trying to tell you something? Is getting in and out of the bathtub becoming a safety concern? Are you worried about the cost of a bathroom remodel that could go on for weeks and weeks? Well, now you can have a gorgeous new bath or shower that's safer at a price you can afford with a 1-day jacuzzi bath remodel.
It was done the same day. We did not have to wait. It is amazing.
Working with the jacuzzi design consultants, it was a seamless process, and there really is an option for everyone.
I would give this whole experience an A+. I definitely wish I would have called sooner.
Jacuzzi has been making water feel great for more than 65 years, so you know it's a brand you can trust, and their products come with a lifetime warranty for a style you'll love for years to come. Plus, there has never been a better time to buy. We're waiving all installation costs and postponing all payments for up to 1 year. There are so many designs to choose from, including my Christina Preferred collection. Plus, we offer free, personalized, in-home design services to build the bath you've always wanted, right in your own space. And let's talk about accessories. From soft close shower doors and adjustable shower heads to features like grab bars and custom seats that combine safety and style to keep you feeling comfortable and independent for years to come. Plus, cleanup's a breeze with no grimy grout and no scrubbing. It just rinses clean. It's never been easier. Get your free design consultation, schedule your 1-day installation, and start loving your new bath or shower right away.
Call or go online right now for a limited time offer. Only weeks left to get waived installation and no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Go to jacuzzibathremodel.com or call 800-991-1767. That's 800-991-1767. Call now.
Litter Robot has now solved the litter box problem for over 1 million pet parents around the world. Hi, I'm Brad Baxter, founder of Whisker and Litter Robot. 25 years ago, I inherited 2 cats and an overflowing litter box. I have a background in engineering, so I was thinking of ways I could automate the litter box process. The result was Litter Robot, a fully automatic, self-cleaning litter box. You'll never scoop again, and your cat will always have a clean bed of litter. Join the Whisker family and try Litter Robot today.
Every day, more dog people are deciding it's time for a fresh approach to pet food.
Developed with vets, made from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog, and delivered right to your door. It's smarter, healthier pet food.
What is Circle? Circle is what you hope for when life tosses lemons your way. Circle is your frosted treat with a sweet kick of confidence. Circle is the effortless energy that gets you in the zone. Circle, available at Walmart and drinkcircle.com.
The Supreme Court appears poised to put an end to affirmative action.
We belong here, and affirmative action is a right that we have.
I think it's cultural discrimination.
Affirmative action is under attack! If you get rid of affirmative action, you're actually taking away racial justice.
These schools are deciding who will have access to money, who will have access to resources, who will have access to political power.
You cannot remedy discrimination and preferences with new discrimination.
The Supreme Court appears poised to put an end to affirmative action.
We belong here, and affirmative action is a right that we have.
I think it's cultural discrimination.
Affirmative action is under attack! If you get rid of affirmative action, you're actually taking away racial justice.
These schools are deciding who will have access to money, who will have access to resources, who will have access to political power.
You cannot remedy discrimination and preferences with new discrimination.
This week, the world, the nation, and the sports world lost a giant in Willie Mays. I grew up at a time where Willie Mays was an amazing example of our being able to use our skills, our tenacity and discipline to rise to the top of whatever field we were in. Willie Mays played ball coming from segregated Alabama, like my mother, working his way through the ranks. And when he got on that field, he erased any doubt that the fact that Jackie Robinson had opened up baseball to blacks was a mistake. For those that thought, oh, they can't compete at that level, all they had to do was watch Willie play and know that not only could we rise to the occasion, we could, at the right game and time, we could dominate the occasion. He had a quiet dignity. I didn't get to know him as well as I did other athletes, but when I met him on several occasions, his quietness was backed by his sense of being and presence. You knew you were in the presence of a kind man, but a man of great achievement. And when he stepped into eternity this week, we could all thank God that we knew a Willie Mays, who came from an state and era where they had the Negro League. And when he went into the Major League, because of the sacrifices of others, he was able to vindicate that sacrifice and show what we could do. We are all indebted to Willie Mays for his quiet dignity. He did not march with his feet like those did in those days, and even we continue today. He marched with his glove and his bat, and he proved that we're capable, if the door's open, to walk through and deliver. May he rest in power, the great Willie Mays. We'll be right back.
A mystery.
Jesse loves playing detective.
But the real mystery is your irritated skin. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. It cleans better and doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
And it's gentle on her skin.
Tide Free and Gentle Liquid is EPA Safer Choice certified.
It's got to be Tide.
We need you now more than ever. Go online, call, or scan right now.
I'm getting vaccinated with Pfizer's pneumococcal pneumonia vaccine.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
Come on. I already got a pneumonia vaccine.
but I'm asking about the added protection of Prevnar 20.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved in adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most common side effects were pain and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, fatigue, headache, and joint pain.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
I don't want to risk ending up in the hospital with pneumococcal pneumonia.
That's why I chose Prevnar 20.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about the Pfizer vaccine for pneumococcal pneumonia.
At St. Jude, we don't care who cures cancer, we just need to advance the cure. It's a bold initiative to try and bump cure rates all around the world, but we should. It is our commitment. We need to do this.
We've always loved taking care of our home, but last year, Grandpa here broke his arm. We realized some home maintenance jobs aren't worth the risk.
That's when we call Leaf Filter to protect our gutters.
Leaf Filter's patented filter technology keeps debris out of your gutters for good.
They gave us a free inspection, and we had the system installed that week.
My only regret is not calling them sooner.
Now we can focus on what we really enjoy.
Join millions of satisfied homeowners. Call 833-LEAF-FILTER today or visit leaffilter.com.
The Supreme Court appears poised to put an end to affirmative action.
We belong here, and affirmative action is a right that we have.
I think it's cultural discrimination.
Affirmative action is under attack!
If you get rid of affirmative action, you're actually taking away racial justice.
These schools are deciding who will have access to money, who will have access to resources, who will have access to political power.
You cannot remedy discrimination and preferences with new discrimination.
That does it for me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern for another live hour of Politics Nation. We have a great show for you with President Biden's deputy campaign manager, Quentin Fulks. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, will be with us tomorrow, and the mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass. That is all Sunday right here on Politics Nation. The Saturday show with Jonathan Capehart starts right now.
Thou shalt not what? Donald Trump rallies religious activists with the same old rants and lies while declaring, without a hint of irony, his love for the Ten Commandments. Susan Del Percio and Ashley Etienne join me to discuss the politics of all this and more. Running out the clock, the Supreme Court has just days to decide more than a dozen pivotal cases, including Trump's claim of presidential immunity. Mark Joseph Stern and Leah Lippman join me to discuss if justice delayed will be justice denied. Debate countdown in the final weekend before the two candidates come face-to-face in Atlanta. I talk with Bob Bauer, the Biden attorney who we just learned is helping the president prep for his debate with his disgraced predecessor. And as a former White House counsel, Bauer also weighs in on presidential immunity. And Auntie Maxine's nightmare. Congresswoman Maxine Waters is here to talk about coming face-to-face in court with the man who targeted her with racist death threats. I'm Jonathan Capehart. This is The Saturday Show. It's a busy day for Donald Trump ahead of what will be a very consequential week for the criminally convicted former president and the country. In less than an hour, Trump will take the stage in Philadelphia for his last rally before his first 2024 debate with President Biden in Atlanta on Thursday. Earlier today, Trump addressed the conservative Faith and Freedom Coalition, where he praised mobsters and railed against the justice system.
The weaponization of law enforcement
is the greatest threat to freedom in America today, I think. And nobody knows it better than me. The late, great Al Capone, right? I tell it all the time, Scarface. He didn't go through what I went through. I got indicted more than him, sir. For nothing, for no crimes.
Trump also repeated his usual lies about voter fraud just days before the Supreme Court is expected to weigh in on his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The High Court's right-wing supermajority agreed to hear Trump's presidential immunity claim more than 3 months ago, and its long-delayed decision is already a victory for Trump.